Hello. Yeah, today I want to show you guys just how I animate a scene again in Adobe Animate. Now, a lot of people have asked me to do a second video. I did a video showing how I did part of the animation in the Green Goblin video. So I want to show you something from the Ant-Man video that I'm currently working on. Isn't released yet at the time of recording, obviously. So yeah, so here's like a little scene where Scott comes down. There's a little glowing orb, and then they get sucked into the quantum realm. This scene is in the movie trailers, in the movies, all that stuff, and all the people here need to get sucked into this orb, and then it's going to zoom in onto the orb, and then it's going to go into the next scene. That's my plan, at least. So I'm not going to probably show you guys everything from that, even though it's only a 2-second little section. It's going to take a little while to animate because there's so many characters, but I want to show you how I basically did that part for Scott. I'll do it again with maybe Hank here, I think, is my plan. So, you got Hank standing here. The orb comes out. He can maybe have a bit of a reaction when it first comes out. You can look at it. So I can just do something like this. Make a big keyframe here. I'll add the audio to it. I'll let you guys listen to the audio of this part so it's not so annoying to hear it over and over again. So
he and his family are sucked into the quantum realm.
So basically, I want him to have a slight reaction to it coming out, just like a few frames. I don't want to waste too much time because by this frames, it's gonna like blast out from the middle. There's gonna be a bit of like a light blast. It kind of happens in the trailer. And it's a little bit more extreme in the trailer. I didn't want to like have him like pushed against the wall and grab you onto stuff, get sucked in. I only got 2 seconds here. You can only show so much. So he's just gonna get pushed back a little bit from the blast and then start to get sucked in. So he needs to be pushed back from the blast probably a frame or two before Scott. So I'm gonna just do a frame before. So that's where Scott starts doing it. So I'm going to have it start right here for Hank. I'm just going to mark that here with a keyframe. But the first things first, he needs to look at the orb coming out. Just have a slight look at it. Scott's not going to notice it, or at least not right away, because he's jumping down there. Doesn't have as many frames to play with. But Hank is just standing there at the start, so he can look at it slightly. Nothing too crazy. You kind of want to, like, when you're animating something, I'll try to explain what I'm doing as I do it. When you do something like so much, it's kind of hard to explain. It's just kind of innate. But basically, you kind of want to you don't want things to look stiff. So you want to change things up a little bit. And just like the hands. Because if I just move the arms out fully, it might look a little stiff. So you want to kind of break them up a little bit. And that's why these things are in different pieces usually. Unless there's a pattern on the arm, which I'm trying to keep intact. Sometimes there'll be one piece. But for a simple model like Hank here, that's okay. Well, I guess it's not simple, but it's simple compared to a main model like Scott Lang's, like Ant-Man suit. Okay, so he looks there. Now I'm not going to have a bounce down there. I don't think I have that much time, but he'll blink and react to it here. So actually, I'll do some of the face stuff here so you guys can see how I do that. Let me just zoom in. So I think it starts at 3:15. I actually have him start reacting a little sooner. No, actually that's okay. Just with how the orb is coming out. I guess I got the orb come out a little sooner if I want it to. Yeah. Just have him react 2 frames earlier since I moved that over.
His family or
there we go. It's not too bad. So to work on face stuff, you just gotta make sure that everything is synchronized. And then I'm going to. Now most of the stuff inside the face typically are groups. Now groups are things that you can't really animate. So I just do things in. I make a hard keyframe and then I move things into place. I can't tween things into place unless I make something a symbol. So he's looking at the thing that Cassie created, the quantum communicator. And then when the orb comes out, Now there's a bit more in the movie than this. Like first there's like a little message thing that comes up in the movie, and then that thing like, then Janet shuts it down, and then it turns back on by itself, and it like sucks them in, and then, or like it turns off by itself. Let me see. So the last time I did him, I had his hair slightly tweaked. Actually, that's pretty good there. I'm gonna use this face. I'm gonna change the mouth up. So I've animated him in a different scene. Obviously the hair is getting cut off there. That was because he was wearing a helmet in a scene before. He doesn't wear a helmet here, so I think that. Now let me just check if I have a, there we go. Just like a neutral mouth, that could work. So yeah, whenever I have reuse, just once you do something once, just use it as much as you can. It saves you time and money, because time is money. There we go. Okay, so there you go. He's inquiring about what that orb is. There we go. And then let me see. So Scott reacts there. So I'm gonna imagine it's gonna start blowing up maybe around here. So then have Hank start reacting here. So he needs to get pushed over. Now I can look at what I've done before, see if he has a pushed over keyframe. I don't think he does. I guess that's kind of, I don't know what's happening there. Boom. I guess that could work maybe. Nah, I don't like it that much. Okay. I'll just do it myself. I'll just do it. Make it 4 frames, a little bit quicker than the Scott one. He's getting hit sooner and harder probably because he's closer. Boom. Everything kind of has to go back. Like his whole body's getting hit here. I don't want to have too much of a drag on anything. Maybe a little bit on the arms once I actually animate it. So he's getting pushed back. As you can see, the collar I keep in the neck file so that I can kind of manipulate it a little bit. But it does get a little bit messy if I'm trying to like move stuff over. And you want to try to keep the shadow of the neck below the headline. That way it doesn't get like lost in the neck there. Otherwise you'll have to redraw the neck or reanimate something. So boom. Let's just move his legs a little bit. Move just with the skew. Alright, so the interesting part is going to be how he gets sucked in. It's going to be also the most annoying part to animate of this whole scene. It's probably the most annoying part to animate of this entire scene. Which maybe I'll show you what I have done of it so far. I don't have any face stuff on Scott yet, but I have most of his animation minus the last part where they're fighting Kang done. Boom. There we go. It's not too bad. It's kind of like how Scott has how many frames. Maybe I'll have one more frame for Hank here. So let's see. So blasting out, hit, and then oh yeah, I also had his feet moving a little bit as if it's like pushing him over. I kind of like that, so let's go with that. And then I'm just gonna skew the entire body just a little bit, and just like that. As long as things stay stable on the feet, and they don't like shift with the pant leg too much, that should be fine. Don't want to do an exact copy of Scott's pose, so I'm gonna have the arm like not fully, like maybe it's getting touched by his leg here or something, so it's stopping a little bit. Boom. And then I can even like kind of like do that. That way it's not a complete duplicate of it. So blast it. And then okay, so Scott starts going in there. Let's have Hank start going in around here. It's kind of like kind of do things slightly off not off model stored, just off timing it so that things don't happen all at the same time, otherwise things will look kind of weird. And then it takes about how many frames? About 10 frames to go inside of it, a bit more, 12 frames. So you can see what I've done with Scott here, a little bit to like kind of ease into it, and then it starts like going full on. So I'm going to use that same kind of idea with Hank, although it has to kind of look different because it's closer. So have him start going in here, and then I'll do maybe like 3 to 4 frames away where it's kind of like still using the basic model of the body without having to change too much. So boom, skew the legs, move the body over. Now things are getting a little funky with the pelvis here. Now, because there's not many lines on this character, I can kind of skew things a bit more, but you still gotta make sure things make sense in the real world, because I always think like animation is basically, you're basically acting, and if something doesn't make sense or look like it's real, people aren't going to believe it. So let's see, so it's gonna be a bit more complicated for him to get sucked in than Scott was. Maybe I should have him get pushed back a little bit more so I have a bit more space. Boop, 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 boop. Auto recovery, that's fine. Okay, boom, boom. I think Cassie's gonna be the most interesting one to do because she's so close to it. What, did I have Scott's arms go up? I don't think I did. That looks okay. Yeah, it's hard to stay down. Let's just have Hank's arms stay down too, otherwise we'll get kind of complicated in like the silhouettes. Just have one straight line. Okay, so bada boom, bada bing. Alright, so I'm already kind of curving his head in towards there a little bit. I think this kind of works. I'll probably go with this. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to use an pure in. So in, so I'll just go over here and I scroll it over, and it's called a classic ease in. You can also just like click on it and there's a button for classic ease in, but I just like to do it manually. As you can see, his arms are slightly getting lost in the shoulders there a little bit. Sometimes you gotta make a keyframes side in between just to fix things up like that. So bam. Also when he gets like pushed back here, I'll show you what I would do for the face stuff. Now, I'm pretty sure I've done a mouth that is like kind of like grinning with like your teeth open and as if like you're in pain with the Scott here. So I'm just gonna scroll through his head and see if I can find it. I can't see things over his helmet. Get rid of the mask. There we go. There it is. Okay. So I think I can just take this. Okay, so it's not a group. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take this mouth from Scott. And then I'm going to put it onto Hank and have him close his eyes when he first gets hit. Wait, what's going on? Oh yeah. When he first gets hit, close his eyes. Oops. Close his eyes. A bit more pained expression. Down. Bit more pain. As I said, animation is acting. So characters need to react to something. The biggest problem I have when I'm supervising something, I do supervising for some Marvel videos every now and then. Maybe you've seen them. They're called Long Story Short. I didn't create the series, but I kind of helped kind of put it together a little bit. And the biggest thing I have to like fix sometimes is like people will animate something and then they just have these dead expressions and it doesn't feel alive. So I try to fix it as much as I can, although like I can never get it to the point where like I'd be satisfied with it. So like sometimes I just say it's good enough and I move on with my life. I can't worry about everything. So, but I can make sure my stuff is as good as it can be. So I'm just gonna fit this into place here. Now, I'm trying to expand his goatee a little bit. File save, make sure you save as you work. I lost a half hour of work yesterday by forgetting to save in Adobe After Effects. Very annoying, and I was about to go to sleep. So I had to stay up late and do that. And I was very annoyed with myself for not pressing save. It's very simple. Just press save, guys. Okay, so blam, blam. There we go. That's kind of selling. That's going to sell the blast a bit better, and everybody's going to have like an expression, not 100% the same as that, but similar enough. Okay, so then maybe I have about 9 frames to try to get him inside of there. So I'm just going to make a keyframe for like a halfway point-ish. I'm just going to stretch him. So he needs to like really curve. So I'm going to like move things around. So usually I wouldn't like mess with a model this much, but I thought this is kind of like a bit more of an action-oriented scene. I'm gonna leave his shoes in the right spot for now. So like things can be like a little bit messy here because it's so quick, but you don't want things like fully like disconnecting. Same for this shoe here. Just going to make sure that stays in place for now. And I do apologize if you hear my dogs or anything in the background. They're not barking right now, but they're sleeping on the couch here. So if they start walking around or something, I do apologize. I'm not going to dub this video over, just going to record it, audio, and upload it probably. I might clean up the audio a little bit. Let's see. And maybe put some music underneath it. Did I do that last time? I'll have to watch that video. Okay, so things are a little messy. This model isn't perfect. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So pant leg's getting a little lost there. Oop. Okay. Okay. His knee is coming off a little bit there. The models aren't perfect for these incidental characters. They don't usually do much action stuff with them. So it's a little bit tougher compared to like the Scott model that I was working with. Okay, because he has a beard, he's like, you can kind of curve his neck without it like getting lost, or curve his head without it getting lost in his neck as much. Alright, so boom, boom. Now I think he'll have to be there a little quicker. Scott's already getting there before him, so I'm just gonna put that there. Then let's just make another keyframe. So this is the one where he actually starts to really get squished down. And then I'm going to squish his torso. I want it to kind of look like it's getting sucked in. So like certain parts will stay, like will be thinner. I just remembered I never finished the show Westworld. Should probably finish that show. I think I'm halfway through the last season right now. Alright, his pants are getting a little lost in Scott's pants there. So I'm just going to do that. There we go. Alright, so make the pelvis smaller. These legs a little smaller. And I even want to kind of do that. This, that, rattle-a-tat, and stand what do me, what you gonna do, bad news, misuse, got too much to lose, give me some truth now, whose side are you on, whatever you say, turn on the boob tube, I'm in the mood to obey. Alright, so, let me see, so he's kind of being sucked in a little bit there, and then maybe another 2 major keys, I think, here should do it. Now, so shadow is getting a little bit, needs to get a little bit faded, and then the next time it will probably be fully gone for this next key here. Make a big key, and to make the shadow down to 0. There. Okay, so I went from here to there. Now I need to do from here to there. Boom. I kind of like him to kind of have like an arch like that going on, maybe not that extreme. Have his legs kind of get pulled like this. Kind of want to like circle, make it like almost like a circle with his body. There we go. Sorry, I think it's got small like this. It gets a little annoying. Alrighty, so don't mind that. Things are breaking. Okay. And so I watched this film last week at the time of this recording, or like even like a few days ago, and I thought it was pretty good. I'm not sure what people are complaining about. It's not like the worst MCU movie that has come out. Like Rotten Tomatoes is, a lot of the critics don't seem to like it that much, which is like whatever. Who cares what critics think? I like a lot of movies that have extremely rotten ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, but even the fans seem a little divided. I feel like people just tend to puppet what critics say a lot of times. And if critics had said that this is a wonderful movie, they would have been like, yeah, that was wonderful. But, you know, it wasn't a perfect movie. I'm not gonna sit here and say that, but definitely wasn't the worst Ant-Man movie, and both of those movies have like 70 and 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, and this one only has like a 50%. Seems a little crazy to me. And I had fun watching it for the most part. Like there's like the dialogue is like a little clunky. I think it's written by one of the Rick and Morty writers who did some of the oddest episodes, which a lot of people have been like, they worked on the worst episodes. I don't know. There's pretty bad episodes of Rick and Morty, especially with some of the later seasons here. So I don't think that the episode that this person worked on is worse than anything else. Alright, so just gonna... I don't usually delete symbols inside of stuff, typically. So it does make the timeline a little messy. I might use a mask, but because this is kind of like a quick and dirty little section here, just kind of wanna do it lickety split quick. I don't feel like masking every character and then having to deal with that mask when exporting layers and then have like 5 different masks. That'd just be annoying. So, and then let's do another keyframe here, and this should maybe be the last one, I think. And I'll just delete the arms, delete, delete pelvis. Delete those legs. Okay, and then that should probably be good.
Locked into the quantum realm. To the quantum realm.
So let's see what it looks like when I just put a tween on everything. It's gonna be a little messy because I'm pressing delete on stuff. So when you press delete on the symbol, it's not going to move because you're deleting the last keyframe inside it, so you can see with the chest and stuff here, like the chest stops moving there. And you'll notice like when you tween stuff, like it doesn't keep things in place. It just like does a complete 50% tween to like from here to like, so like follow this leg here from here to there. So it's just doing a 50% in the way tween here. So it's not gonna like connect to like this and that perfectly. I'm just gonna watch this for the timing. So I think he needs to get in there a bit quicker. So I'm gonna mess with the timing a little bit. So some of these things may not even need to be tweened. So yeah, that's a little slow there. Like, let's just do this. That. Let's try that timing on for size, and boom, 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 boom. And yeah, I think that could work better, but even like another frame out of here would be good, probably. So Let's get rid of this tween.
Into the quantum realm. Into the quantum realm. Into the quantum.
There we go. I think that's good. Alright, so basically I'm going to just have to clean up a couple of these keys and in-betweens. And I'll show you. And this is kind of how I basically create every action scene to an extent. Everything is different with animation. Like, how I'm doing this is not how I might do like a different section. But for the most part, it's kind of just like making keys, tweening what I can, and then fixing anything that doesn't work. So right now, get rid of this head, and then this in between is pretty messy. You'll notice that a lot of the time when you're using in betweens, they're good for like bobbing back and forth, and like especially for like the clothes changes, because like those are simple movements. But in betweens for this is like a little bit messy, and then it's like trying to like kind of skew things back on. Okay, just gotta make sure everything, basically it's gonna be going pretty quick, and there'll be a blur on these characters, so things don't have to be like perfect, but they still have to be like, they still have to make sense. All right, so then I'll make a key here, and I can get rid of the torso. Maybe just not get rid of the torso, but I'll skew it down. Hide the neckline a bit. Probably get rid of this arm. But yeah, his pant leg's getting kind of stuck in Scott's there. There we go. Okay. Ooh, ooh. Okay, okay. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. So, let's see. Let's grab the pelvis here. Kind of put things into place a bit more. I just gotta make sure that that makes sense with that next keyframe. And I think it works. Except for the pelvis. I mean, the torso is getting a little bit, it's a little too thick there. And gotta make sure that that isn't getting fully lost. Boom, boom, and then press boom, boom, and then I press delete. He doesn't need to be there anymore. So let's just take a look at the second sucky.
He and his family are.
Let's watch it on its own first before I'll just go ahead and synchronize these symbols.
He and his family are sucked into the quantum realm.
That's pretty good.
His family are sucked into the quantum.
I think it'll look good with the effects when the blast hits. Hopefully I do a good job with that effect. So yeah, things are like almost, maybe you should go like 2 frames before.
His family are sucked into the quantum realm.
Yeah, even there it looks a little like it's all happening around the same time. So I'll just move things over a frame.
His family are sucked into the quantum realm.
There we go. I think that works better. Boom, boom, boom.
Sucked into the quantum realm. Family are sucked into the quantum realm.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Now because I moved the keyframes over a little bit, I'll have to move these actual facial expressions over inside of this head. Everything should be synchronized. So blink, close your eyes, and sucked. And sucked. I gotta stop saying sucked. I'll probably demonetize this.
He and his family are sucked into the quantum realm.
There we go. Okay, so that's oh wait. Just notice that this is not hiding the head enough. There we go. Okay, so that should be better. There we go. Okay, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. So yeah, there you go. So I want to show you guys how I do an action scene. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, if you're into Adobe Animate yourself. Oh yeah, I should also mention, if you watch till the end of this video, I'm just going to toss this up here. I don't really promote my Patreon too much, but I do have a tier on my Patreon. Like, I don't make much money off my Patreon, but what is this? Here it is. So tiers. So the Patreon basically helps to pay for like little things. I may only make like $1,000 a year on this Patreon. It's not much, but it helps out a little bit. So if you guys want to help out the channel, you can check out the Patreon by mentioning it in. So this is the most popular one. People like to get their name in the credits of the actual animations, and eventually I do shout out people on this channel as well. I'm on the ball, but not sure why this is 1 of 8 patrons. I should really change that because I don't think there should be a limit on that. But I'm just gonna change that now. But anyways, if you are into animation and maybe you want to play around with like the models that I've created and make your own animations, you can do that basically. You'll get the actual animations from every single animation that I've worked on this channel. So from the, I think the Basset Helm one all the way through to this newest video, Ant-Man. As it takes like a few days for me to upload stuff onto here, but if it's not up there yet. So if you want to mess around with the actual models that I've created for these videos, you should definitely check out the Patreon, and anyone can get it. I'm not sure where it says 1 of 8. I think I just edited one that was 1 of 8 before. I used to do illustrations for people, and there was like a $50 tier, and then it just got to be too much work to do that, so I got rid of that tier and I changed it into this one, I guess, and it's only $750. I think US maybe per video. So you basically, but you get basically all the back catalog of all the animation models right away. So if you only just want to like pay for it once or twice and like download the models, I don't mind, as long as you give credit to my channel and my Patreon and stuff if you use the models and upload them somewhere. That's all I care about. So yeah, definitely check that out. If you are into animation, you can see how I create models hands-on. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about animation, Adobe Animate, and the new Ant-Man movie. What do you guys think about it? So yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. And until next time, I've been Aaron, and I'll tell you something later.